Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm one of your hosts, Petter, and with me I got my co-host, James.
Hello.
And today we're talking about volume 13 of Kaguya-sama Love is War. The Hoshin Culture Festival has finally begun, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm excited to talk about in this volume. So I guess without further ado, let's talk about the characters, starting with Kaguya Shinomiya.
With Kaguya, it's just seeing more of how they're both her and Miyuki are progressing, and the fact that they've kind of made up their mind that they're going to do it. More so Miyuki than Kaguya, I feel like, that they're going
Mm-hmm.
to admit they have feelings for the other person. But you could see throughout this volume, from Kaguya's viewpoint, that she needs to get the courage to do that, or it's going to be too late. Not that she
Mm-hmm.
knows that, but I think she has kind of that feeling of, dread of never confessing, but also the dread of being rejected. So I guess there is that balance that she still feels. But
Right.
yeah, so it's nice. It's interesting to see her kind of go through that thought process throughout the whole thing, and how she kind of looks to other people, well, specifically Ishigami, as kind of like a support without actually reaching out to him. So like an ally in love, meaning
Yeah, right. You're
he's
right.
trying to confess his feelings for the person he likes, and so having that friendship, that kinship with him, something else trying to do that kind of gives her courage as well. So I like that.
Exactly. Right, for sure. And like she is genuinely rooting for him as well, which is awesome
Oh,
to
that
see.
that too, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just really. I mean, she is like genuinely doing it, like rooting for him, and she's also at the same time she also sort of is rooting for him in the similar sense that Miyuki also does, and we'll maybe get to that. But it's this thing that this volume brought up where if you're in his friend circle and someone in the friend circle gets rejected,
Mm-hmm.
like for like romantically rejected, then the others like socially aren't allowed to like engage in any new relationships.
Well, you kind of feel obligated,
Right, yeah,
like.
right, exactly. um so she also in that sense is rooting for him because she obviously wants this culture festival to be the beginning of her and Miyuki's romance.
Mm-hmm.
So but that's it. Yeah, it is a genuine support as well. Like
Of
she
course.
genuinely wants him to find love. Um, there was in the last chapter of this volume when she and Miyuki are they're attending different activities at the culture festival. They go to the fortune telling place,
Mm-hmm.
which is first of all pretty funny
Yeah.
scene, but Yume Atembo, the girl
Mm-hmm.
there, uh, the head of the occult club, she describes Kaguya in I think one of the most beautiful and most true ways
I thought the
like
same
ever
thing.
like I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She says, "Shinomiya, you're like the clear surface of water, clear water that changes color as it reflects the shades of the sky. If you're with someone evil, you will become evil, but if you're with someone good, you will become good." I love that description of her.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great
so
one.
accurate and so poetically
Mm-hmm.
phrased. So I just had to I just had to lift that one up, just because I love that so much.
For sure.
It was like just this little beautiful piece of uh, piece of text in a very otherwise just comedic and kind of silly scene.
Right. Right. That's the thing about this volume, and a lot of the recent volumes, is that you go through comedy, romance, and insightful things, in and out all the time. So it kind of keeps you off guard. It's like, okay, is this gonna be funny? Is this gonna be romantic? Is this gonna be insightful? Is it gonna be stupid? Like,
Right.
it's like back and forth. It's really funny,
Definitely.
in that
Yeah.
sense.
Absolutely. And we also learned that Kaguya did. Well, obviously, we know that Kaguya didn't learn about Hojin legend until recently. That
Hmm.
was the previous volume. But we also get a little bit more perspective on that in this volume, where we learn that basically everyone knows about it since way earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like about 90% of the school just sees it as just common knowledge.
Right.
But since Kaguya hasn't had a lot of friends, she hasn't heard of that legend until now.
You think Chika would have mentioned it, but I guess
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess it never came up.
yeah. I was actually thinking about like either Chika or maybe I would talk about that at some point, have told Kaguya about it, but I guess not.
Yeah, apparently not. It took Tsubame apparently.
Yeah, yeah.
So something that I noticed, but kind of had to take a back step on was when she was in front of her class's coffee tea shop, whatever, the cafe.
Yeah.
People were saying how cute she was, and she was kind of blushing. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe she is kind of enjoying the somewhat attention she's getting from there, and she wouldn't have really entertained that or thought anything of it. Was she still the Ice Princess Kaguya or whatever? However, you then turn the page, and then it talks about how she's more excited to, or she really wants to get Miyuki there so she can win him over with her charms or whatever. So as I was reading that, I was like, maybe she's more just excited about Miyuki getting there than liking the attention she was getting. So maybe I misread it the first time, but I mean it could be a little bit of both. But anyway, it's just something
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, although I don't know, I didn't see it as her necessarily enjoying that kind of attention. I could see it, I guess, but I more so just read it as her being maybe a little bit embarrassed, maybe by those
Oh, embarrassed?
compliments, or well, sort of like, yeah, a little bit embarrassed in that way, like from getting that kind of attention, because people usually don't have the balls to go up to her and say stuff like that. People are usually a little bit intimidated by her. So I guess it's not something she's used to.
Well, guys confess to her every month, apparently.
She said that. She said that. I'm not sure if she was truthful in that though. But you're right. She did say that, and I guess it's up for interpretation.
Anyway, I don't know if I go as far as say embarrassment, but you know what? It's not that important. So
Fair, yeah.
it could be that. It really could be that.
It could be a lot of things, probably. But yes, another great moment from Kaguya this volume, although it's kind of comedic, but also just, well, it's her, is when she wants to give Miyuki the takoyaki with a heart in it.
Yeah.
She's prepared for everything, every single situation.
Thing. Nothing caught her off guard, even though it looked like at first. Like she was ready for everything.
That was just so funny. Like it's almost like in that scene, it felt to me almost like Akasaka was like sort of parodying himself.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Totally.
But I really like it.
Oh yeah, it was great. Absolutely fantastic. Well written and thought out.
Definitely.
I like how she's always been confident in her tea skills, and we learned that making coffee is definitely not one of her strong suits, at least compared to others. And she has much more confidence in tea making. But not only that, at least according to one of the ramen kings, he says that it's because of love that you make it so well, and she's making it because she has someone in mind. And I think that's a little different than before, where she was just good at making tea and had been trained in that. Whereas according to this guy, her skills had gone above and beyond because she was pouring and making the tea with someone she loves in mind. So yeah. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, and actually that was really funny. I guess since we're on this right now, I guess I'll just mention it briefly. That specific ramen king who said that, he was the guy who was observing Chika when she was eating ramen in the same back in I think volume 5, I think. But anyway, what I think is kind of funny is how, well, first of all, back in that chapter when Chika and him was eating ramen at the ramen place, he kind of sort of comes to the conclusion that she's one of his kind, like she's one of his people, and like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And whether or not like how serious we should take that is, I guess, up to each person. But this scene here where he describes Kaguya's tea in that way, a very like emotional kind of way with these feelings put into it, and like the kind of almost like a history to it. It reminded me of Chika's way that she described Miyuki's rice, fried rice.
Oh, really?
When she described it as like this is only someone who's put like who's done this every day for like a family, blah blah, who doesn't have
Hmm.
a bunch of money. Like she could taste how much like love and care he had put into that fried rice over the
Okay.
years, kind of.
Hmm.
Uh, and obviously, it's a different thing, but I just thought it was funny, kind of how maybe this like is another kind of little indication that Chica and that guy really are of the same of the same people. But yeah, just a small thing.
Interesting.
Anyway, anything more on Kaguya?
Yeah. She hates scary stuff. I don't know if we really knew that
Right.
before. Maybe we did, but this is the first time I think we've seen her get experience with that. Um,
Mm,
so that's interesting. And
yeah.
going back to her thing with Ishigami, she almost ruined any chance that Ishigami had with Tsubame.
Yeah.
Quick catch on her for doing that, but yeah, I mean that's kind of a funny thing
Yeah.
on her part.
And I don't really blame her for not thinking it
Well, of
was,
course,
for thinking she was talking about somebody else at first.
yeah, no doubt.
uh,
Like Ishigami didn't really show that he could have done anything like that, and technically he didn't. So,
exactly. Exactly.
um,
Hmm.
the one other thing is just one face she makes, and I couldn't put it in either
Ah,
comedy or romance, at least
okay.
for me. So
I think I might know which one.
it's in the very first chapter, and
Oh,
yeah, there's she's thinking about what if Miyuki says, "I like you, but I don't like you in that way," and she's kind of like trembling and horrified. And
yeah.
I mean that's just a powerful face. That it's funny, but it's also, oh man, that would be so heartbreaking if that
Right.
were to happen. So
Definitely.
I think it's a face that is easy to relate to. I think, which I think Akasaka does a pretty good job, even if it is a bit cartoonish sometimes. You know.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And actually that reminded me, it kind of reflected Miyuki. I think it was
Oh
the
yeah,
previous volume, which also had
may
like
have
one of the
been.
first chapters, sort of in a similar way, where he imagines a being turned down by Kaguya,
Yeah,
and he
that's a
just
good point.
that's the worst possible outcome, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Uh, Slightly different, but still, I think intentionally somewhat similar.
He may have made a similar face at the time too. I can't
Possibly,
remember
yeah,
off the top of my head, but that's good.
yeah.
Good comparison.
At least the situation is similar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right then. Let's move on to Miyuki Shirogane.
What a cliffhanger!
Yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
I say that last time? I don't know, but this one was even a bigger cliffhanger because we knew he was thinking about going to Stanford, but this is like, I'm going to Stanford and
Hmm.
I'm not coming for my third year. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, what? Why would you have to skip a year? I don't understand. I'm sure it'll be
Mm.
explained, but still, it's quite shocking, and it makes this moment where he has to, where they one of them has to confess, even more serious. Otherwise, nothing will go. It won't go anywhere. They'll be too far apart or whatever.
Yeah. It really ends on a like just like a sudden downer note, kind of, this
Mm-hmm.
volume. Because the last chapter is for the most part pretty funny and pretty sweet. But then we got this in like the barely lit student council chambers, and he's just giving Kaguya that news.
Yeah.
But I do like that last chapter, how he's enjoying the culture festival with Kaguya, and he really is. It's like he's playing a new game,
Mm.
at that point.
Yeah.
Or it's sort of, I mean, basically being this open and honest about basically everything,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously catches Kaguya off guard. Uh, Sort of similar to how he acted in the previous volume a bit,
Right. Right.
but I feel like it's more refined now. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
he's better at it now in a way, um, because he didn't he didn't show any signs of like insecurity or feeling weird about anything.
Nervousness or anything.
Right. He does express it though. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he tells her, but that's also just another part of him being open with her in that kind of way, which I think is awesome, and I think is necessary for if they're gonna be able to get closer than they already are.
True. I agree. It's great to see that openness.
Mm.
Uh, it was interesting not getting in that chapter. We weren't really seeing Miyuki's point of view. It was mostly Kaguya's point of view that whole time.
True.
So it would have been nice to see what he was thinking and how he's going about it. But we have kind of had that sort of viewpoint in storytelling for most of the manga. So it was kind of interesting to see it from just Kaguya's standpoint, where she couldn't really read Miyuki or see him flustered in any sort of way. So
Mm.
for this chapter, I think it worked.
Yeah.
And again, seeing Miyuki just kind of swallow his pride a bit and just go for it is really awesome and important for the relationship, like you said.
Uh-huh.
But on a bright note, Miyuki can do a lot of oddball tasks, like things that you wouldn't expect him to be able to do. Apparently, he can.
Oh. Yeah, he's a masterful juggler,
Go
for
figure.
example.
Not compared to his grandma though. Like
Yeah,
he can't hold a
right.
match. Keep trying
Oh my
that,
god.
Sonny.
Yeah, oh, that was so good. Like so unexpected. Well, it was sort of expected because it was almost like I was expecting the
It
unexpected.
was leading up to it. Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah. But still I love that.
No, totally.
Oh man. And also sort of along a similar note, just like a little funny tidbit is that he doesn't deny that he has a powerful sex drive.
That's
So
that's true.
that's good to know. Maybe.
So
Yeah.
I guess going with that point, I kind of jumped the gun with the tricks things, but
Uh-huh.
going along with that, he mentions or not mentions throughout the volume until around that chapter, he kind of is still trying to trick her into confessing.
Mm.
Um, I mean, I especially think of the balloon art heart one. He was definitely trying to catch her in the moment.
Right, definitely there.
At the end of the day, I think he still had made up his mind that he was going to confess. But if he could get her to do it, then he'd be like, hey,
Right, exactly. Like
I'll take
him
that.
confessing himself is just like the last resort kind of, but he
Yeah.
will do it. He will resort to it, or at least that's how
Hmm.
he's thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's still not he still hasn't given up, the battle.
No, not at all.
All right. Then let's move on to Chika Fujiwara then.
I love how excited she gets with the stolen hearts bit. Like she
Yes.
goes into love detective mode. I guess technically it's not love detective this time. It's just detective.
Detective. Yeah, right, yeah.
And she's just really enthralled by it, and she is so likable and I don't know, just cute when she's gets really into something.
Totally.
And I think that's one of her best characteristics, even if
Yeah.
she is kind of one-minded in that moment.
Right. It feels almost like this mystery is like it's almost like it's made for her. It's funny.
Well, okay, that's what I was gonna say actually. So,
Oh.
I guess I didn't have to wait very long. Okay, so what if the person who ever did this heart thing wanted to distract Chica, like had planned this to distract Chica, and only a few people know how really destructive Chica can be, as Kaguya. I think she said destructive in the chapter at in the volume at one point,
Yeah.
and that's Kaguya and Miyuki. Now Kaguya Kaguya wasn't aware of the whole heart thing. She knew about it, but she didn't seem like she was the one who planned it. Obviously, it was kind of a miracle that Chika just went on her merry way during the date. So what if it was Miyuki? Miyuki could have planned this so that Chika's distracted and that nothing else could possibly go wrong. I don't know. I don't know how he would have planned Ishigami or even Miko, but I guess it worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Um, but Chika would have been the number one priority because of how destructive she can be and chaotic. So that's my thinking. And there was that moment where one, he saw Chika passing out the hearts. Although I think he would have had done the plan before if it was the case. But the biggest one is Kashiwagi asks Miyuki, should we stop Chika from trying to, or, messing things up, or not messing things up, but, trying to solve the case. I don't think
Right.
Kashiwagi is in on it at all. I think she was just worried that Chika might destroy something. But
Yeah.
but Miyuki was like, nah, it's okay to have some fun and games at a festival. There's no harm done. And
Right.
and the way he was kind of like focused on his face, and he was holding this creepy clown, which is really really creepy. I don't know who would want that.
Yeah.
So the way that was set up, it just kind of felt like that maybe he was the one that did the challenge. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking it, and it's just some random person, or maybe it's like the headmaster guy. I don't know. I don't know why he would do it. Maybe he just wanted to have fun.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, for real. So that's my thinking. But if it's not Miyuki, then this could be very interesting for Chika's character, like to find out who it is, and maybe she makes a new friend in that way, or I don't know. I really don't know what else it could be, but I do hope that it's not just kind of dropped, but there is some sort of interesting thing. One more thing. If it is Miyuki, I wonder how Chika would take that. Like, how would she feel that she was kind of being distracted? Would she just, or at the very least, the person who put up this wonderful game for her to solve was Miyuki. Maybe she wouldn't think anything of it and she'd be like, oh, this is awesome. Maybe she would be upset that not Miyuki. Oh no. Or maybe she would be hurt. I don't know. Again, I'm just thinking way too much into this.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun to hear the speculations. I imagine if your theory is true, I imagine Chika would probably be grateful for it. I mean, she says it herself. She views this as a game, just like, and she says like the perpetrator is playing a game with us. So I think she's just in it for the fun of it, and she would probably be happy as long as if she's able to solve it. Whoever set it up, I think she would be happy. It's what just based on what we know about her, and it's just a fun game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the most likely outcome. As long as the game ends somewhat satisfying for her, I think.
Right.
It'll be she'll enjoy.
Yeah,
it.
she wants to solve it. Yeah, she wants to win it.
Right. Exactly.
I just want to put one other name to the hat of just characters that I feel could possibly be the perpetrator.
Okay.
Here, Ai Hayasaka.
Really?
It's just one that I wouldn't put it past her.
Oh, that's a really good one.
I feel like she has the know-how and just kind of general.
Would she go that far? Maybe she would though, because
For Kaguya, she would.
Yeah, even if Kaguya didn't ask her, which we know she didn't, because Kaguya was seemed somewhat surprised by it.
True.
So yeah, Hayasaka is a possibility, and she has. You're right. Oh gosh, I think you're right. I think it may be Hayasaka instead.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Why didn't I think of that? I think it's what for me. What really points it to Hayasaka is the fact that they had guards patrolling the area, so.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Of course, it had to be someone who's able to sneak by those guards and get it taken care of. So, yeah, I think that's a very good guess. Darn it! I thought my Miyuki theory was pretty good.
Hey, I thought that was a good theory too. I like it. I like it a lot. And I like the headmaster speculation too.
The headmaster was just like, I could see him doing it, I guess.
Right.
Darn, why did they have that creepy clown and the fun and games things then? What was that for? Whatever.
Maybe we'll know.
Maybe.
Eventually.
Maybe they're in cahoots.
That would be awesome.
I don't know how or why. Something that must have happened there.
Right.
Yeah.
More on Chika. She tries to prove to her little sister that Miyuki is bad. He's bad.
Oh, Chika. Just throws a little tantrum too.
I do love that.
Yeah. It's just so funny how against her sister being in love with Miyuki, it's just like, you don't understand. This person is terrible.
Yeah, right.
At least in her book, this man is terrible. It will ruin your life. And then she lists all these things that he's terrible at, but then says, well, he's really good at it. And honestly, it just makes even from a objective standpoint, it just makes him sound better.
Right, exactly. Totally.
Which is the point. But I think even if we hadn't seen this happen for him, I think the reader would have been like, oh yeah, I mean that sounds pretty good that he's able to, get better at those things. So, it's almost like Chika's in denial that Miyuki is actually not that bad of a guy.
Right.
Which she later on obviously has a thing, but we'll mention that later. But her PTSD is so strong that she kind of refuses to look at those those good points.
Yeah, basically.
So it's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, it is. But speaking of what you mentioned briefly or hinted at, she has this points off system and she has a points on system for like romantic interest stuff, which is pretty cool. And in her mind, if she uses the points off system for you and Miyuki, they are both very, very, very bad.
Industrial waste.
Yeah, right. But if she uses the points on system, probably the more optimistic system, then they're both pretty all right.
They're both pretty cool.
And I guess that's a compliment. So I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Chika was getting kind of nasty to both those guys.
Yeah.
Over the course of time, so it's nice to at least see that she doesn't really think that they're terrible people. I mean, it's more,
she doesn't.
I think
yeah.
You're right. I think it's more just kind of where their friendship has gone, and sometimes when you're pretty good friends with someone, you kind of tease each other over some faults. Well, it depends on the person. I don't usually do that, but some people do. Some people like to tease each other. So
yeah.
Not that I think that they're all teasing each other because they like each other romantically in that sense, but just sometimes good friends do that, and I think in reality Chika does really care about those two.
Yeah, and definitely Miyuki. I'm like still a little bit unsure about what she thinks about you.
Okay.
With him, like I mean, yeah, I don't think she hates him.
No.
Because obviously, if that was the case, she probably wouldn't even stand to work at the same student council with him. So I mean, obviously, there's no hate there. It's just I don't know. When she makes the little list of bad things about you, there was one of those things that actually, when I read it, sounded a little bit extra kind of personal to her in a way. She wrote, "When he wounds me, the damage heals very slowly." That just doesn't sound good at all. Like if that's how she feels, that's not good at all.
No, it's not. I will say it could be her just, kind of exaggerating a bit.
Maybe.
Knowing Chika.
Yeah.
But you're right. If that is how she feels, and she really has kind of trauma towards some of the things he said to her, then that's understandable. At the same time, this is the girl who, was accusing Ishigami of all these things when she was clearly in the wrong,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
them going to the fireworks festival, whatever it was, and Ishigami's like, well, why do we have to wait for you? You're going on a vacation somewhere, and she calls him a terrible thing, and like,
Right.
what did I do? So I don't know. I guess we'll see going forward, but if that is brought up, that could be an interesting aspect, and
Yeah.
maybe get some character growth there. Maybe.
Could be. Yeah, we really are looking at the very, very, very small details about Chika just to find something like actually like not comedic purely.
I I I think we did get a bit something here with her what, off points, on points. No, what was it? Uh,
Points off and points on.
oh, I guess I
Yeah.
switched the words. Yeah, that system we kind of got a little bit of that,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
um, I would like more. But at the same time, yeah, I get, like I said before, I pushed it. I'm not thinking about it. Character growth. She's just purely comedic character. But that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So far, for sure.
So far.
A boy can dream.
I'm hoping. Well, there's that moment where they talk about confidence and how Ishigami doesn't have it, and Chika says, "Oh, you're right. You have your grades, and I have my piano."
Right.
And Miki kind of makes a comment on that, and so I was thinking, more, please. Like, let me hear more about that piano, that backstory, and maybe we can get Miko in there as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Why not? And I think it is pretty awesome or pretty interesting how Chika is able to have this very, very good confidence, just in general about everything.
Yeah.
Mostly only because she is a very good piano player. You know, that's great. You know, it's awesome that
Yeah.
she's able to feel so secure and like confident in herself, even though she really kind of just has one area where she is really, really good.
Yep.
And we get to see her method of turning down love confessions with a quiz.
Uh,
That's pretty cool.
you know, the funny thing is the guy totally bought it. He's like,
Yeah.
wow, lighter than feathers, or whatever he says. And
Yeah.
it's just like, of course there'd be people like that.
Hard feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
for everybody who thinks Chica's a waifu, we're all offended that it's like, only a person like that would fall in love with Chica. No, maybe. I'll be honest.
Maybe.
I was reading the quiz, like her answer. I was like, is there something cryptic here? Is there something I should be reading into? and then
Nice.
and then I got to that point, and I was like, oh crap, I am one of these people.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Oh boy. Anything more on Chica, or is that it?
Not for now. I'm good.
Cool, cool. Then let's move on to Yu Ishigami. He managed to ask Tsubame to come to his haunted house, which was a big,
Yeah.
good on you, man. Mm-hmm. But of course, Nagisa and Tsubasa, their
Man.
illicit, intimate relations in the lockers ruined all that. Or Miko ruined it, I guess, depending on how you see
They
it.
both kind of did, but
Everyone, all three of them ruined it.
yeah, I mean, we'll get to Kashiwagi, later on. But
we will, yeah.
it would have been nice to have that moment for you. But at the same time, they both enjoyed. Well, especially Tsubame enjoyed her time, and then
Yeah.
she invited you to her class's booth or whatever they were doing games, and so I think it really worked out for him, and it shows that sometimes just going out and having a little bit of confidence to ask someone just to go do something is worthwhile in the end, because you never
Totally.
know unless you try.
For sure. Yeah,
Not
thought
that I
was
ever take my own
great.
advice, but
It's hard, dude. It's hard. I don't blame you. And then, as we touched on a little bit earlier, he does give Tsubame that heart-shaped cookie without realizing what it means. And that kind of becomes a pretty major thing throughout the volume after that. Everyone's talking about it. And he still doesn't know what he did.
right.
So,
Right.
yeah, that's interesting.
I'll share more of my thoughts in kind of the romance section.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. then we will save that for there. And another thing about you was when he saved me, Miko from the pushy guys that
Oh yeah,
were trying to, get her to show them around the school, and yeah, they were kind of not cool.
yeah,
Um,
sketchy.
yeah, definitely very. Um, it was really nice to see. We've seen him protect her and kind of stand up for her in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Mm-hmm.
that in itself wasn't necessarily new, but what Tsubame pointed out, like her observation of it, how he seemed obviously upset, kind of mad at at that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of shows in a new way how maybe he cares about Miko.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's not something that he has realized yet. If or maybe he never will. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this ship that we're building here will ever actually float, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still something that I enjoyed in that little and yeah on that side of things.
Yeah. What I liked that from Ishigami, and like I was mentioning with Kaguya, is they kind of have the uh, friends in their battle of love or whatever. They comrades, if you will, and they're both trying. They both realize they don't have much time to confess their feelings. Maybe Kaguya again. Maybe Kaguya doesn't realize how much time she has quite yet until the very end of this volume. But
Mm.
Ishigami says he's scared of saying goodbye without even trying.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that point is very well done for him, and it's kind of a good character growth for him. Where before, because of his lack of confidence, he might have not been able to even be at that point. He's like, why
Mm.
bother trying? Maybe
Right.
he would say. So I like that. And technically, he still hasn't tried yet. But
Yeah. Or well, he did ask her out, sort
true,
of.
true. You're right. You're right.
He hasn't confessed or anything, but he has at least
Right.
asked her out, which
That's a big step.
is yeah, definitely, and especially this quickly, this early, like compared to Kaguya and Miyuki, it's like much faster than either of them were ever able to do anything like that.
True, true. And him, asking her to go to the haunted house, and her saying yes, and then the things that happen afterwards was a
Mm.
huge confidence boost for him.
Yeah,
And I think any sort of confidence boost is going to be great for Ishigami.
yeah,
And I really did love that.
absolutely, yeah. He deserves the good stuff in
Mm-hmm.
life
He's a good guy.
for sure. Got anything more on him?
Not for now.
All right then, let's talk about Miko Ino.
She can really be an open book if she gets carried away. Like sometimes it's like she's not honest with herself, but then like for example, with when they were trying to figure out what to do with the haunted house,
Uh huh.
Ishigami remembers her kind of audio things, and then she goes on and on about it, how it's amazing, and basically goes into her, I guess, lack of a better word, fetishes with it,
Uh huh.
and she almost revealed a little too much, and obviously Osaragi was there to kind of like stop her a bit, but
Yeah.
she just kind of gets carried away a little bit when she's talking about some of her favorite things and becomes a little too open or a little too maybe putting in people's hands. I guess is that the phrase? I'm probably butchering whatever it actually is, but those guys, like we mentioned, the sketchy guys that were hitting on her,
Yeah.
they were quickly able to get her to open up and even try to get them to go with her, or backwards, get her to
Mm.
go with them.
Yeah, she is easily swayed, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Easy swayed, yeah. Some of this we kind of established, but it's not just with romance or with boys per se. It's really anybody can get her, a little. Well, can open her up.
Yeah, doesn't take too much.
Yeah, it doesn't take too much.
And I imagine that kind of goes along with the fact that she hasn't, you know, I think I touched on this a little earlier. How I think she desires attention in some capacity, in
Mm.
some way, just because her parents never really were able to give that to her during her
Mm-hmm.
upbringing. And I think because of that, whenever people do give her some sort of attention, she wants to cling to that because, well, maybe it's subconscious, like whatever it is, it's something that appeals to her, I imagine.
Yeah. I think it must be some sort of parental thing,
Hmm.
not having that love at home or that attention at home as much as she wants. Because maybe her parents like really love her, but
Yeah,
they just don't give her the attention.
exactly.
So I guess it goes to her friendship with Chika,
Yeah.
because like we mentioned before, I would love to see like the backstory behind her admiration for Chika and the whole piano thing as well. But regardless, she has this huge admiration for her, almost to a fault. And Ishigami, they kind of teased it before, but now Ishigami basically calls it domestic abuse or
Hmm.
uh, some sort of abusive relationship. And I'll be honest, I think that's a little unfair because I don't think it's that bad. But they obviously played it off as a joke, and she says, "Oh, because
Right.
I'm a bad girl." I mean, those are things that are sure signs of the some domineering person in the relationship
Uh huh.
abusing the person who is a little more submissive. Um, so yeah, that's not so that in that case it's not good. In but for Chica, it's really not that bad. Like it's more funny or anything.
Right, and as you said, like it is mostly played as a joke in this volume because
Mm-hmm.
it's on purpose, obviously, that Akasaka made Miko express it in the like typical way that someone that is in such a predicament would.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely played as a joke, and I'm not sure how seriously we are supposed to take that. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe there is a lot of depth to it. Maybe it is something that will really become a plot point at some point, or maybe it is just a temporary joke. I really don't know.
Temperature. Yeah, I mean, no, I honestly I don't think it playing too much of a role, other than the
Mm,
fact that, as we've said before, Miko needs to be careful on who she ends up dating or
mhm.
having any sort of relationship with, because that person could easily manipulate her and do all sorts of terrible, abusive things, and she would turn a blind eye to it. So that's dangerous.
That I think is an important thing to take away from this,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And she doesn't understand in the beginning of this volume. She does not understand why everyone's so busy right before the festival is about to begin, which led me to think that this is probably her first time being part of arranging such a big event such as this, because she has probably never, felt confident enough to get involved in these sorts of committees and like arranging parties,
Hmm.
because I feel like before recently she was kind of just walking her own path,
Mm-hmm.
trying to become student council president, but kind of by herself. She has Kobachi, but like other than her, she hasn't really had any support other than her, and she hasn't really tried to get any other support, well, other than like voters and stuff, but which hasn't gone very well, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
So like this is like her first time being in this kind of big social situation in a way,
That's a good point. Hmm.
and so that's why she's like weirded out, or like she doesn't understand like why is everyone so busy right now. And obviously you knows that, yeah, it's something always goes wrong. We got to be prepared as much as possible. But it also is also, I think, it's obviously that Miko, she probably had her tasks. She knew what her responsibilities were, and she made sure to do those probably well ahead of time. Had that all of that prepared, and so she's like, what, like, why isn't everyone getting prepared ahead of time? And like, why do you save all the work until the last second? But that's not how it works. There's always going to be little things to do here and there. So I
Hmm.
think she has a lot to learn about that.
Yeah. And I do think she's also keeps herself busy during the whole thing. I mean, there's
Hmm.
that panel where she's kind of on a walkie-talkie, or is it walkie-talkie or a phone?
Yeah,
I think it's walkie-talkie.
whichever it is, yeah.
And yeah, so she's obviously has a lot of responsibilities there. But I guess she does need to understand that not everyone is going to have everything, all their tasks complete, a day before, or got to be a little flexible when something does come up that they need to change or something like that.
Yeah, right. And obviously there's the flashback scene, I guess we could say, where Miko is against her will forced to be the girl who gets her ears uh
cut.
cuts and other things. And and you know, they ended up having to duct tape her mouth in the end because she couldn't be quiet during it all.
Yeah, loved it. Also disturbed, but
Yeah, I mean, or well, maybe. Yeah, it was good though. I really enjoyed that. I got a kick out of it.
I put that in my comedy section just because it
Oh
made me
yeah,
laugh so hard.
true, true.
Uh,
It does fit. It does fit there too. Man, yeah. Anything more on Miko?
no, no, I think I'm good.
Then I guess the next one I want to talk about is Maki Shijo.
Okay.
She quite quickly figures out that Yu likes Tsubame. Maybe it was kind of obvious. You know, he was just staring there, kind of
Yeah.
staring at her.
I
Uh,
love that moment where she kind of has a smug face, and
yeah,
she kind of leans up. She's like, "Ah, so who you looking at?" Like
yeah,
it's kind of like they've been best friends for a long time, even though they've only known each other for maybe a few weeks, maybe a month. I don't know.
right, yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like their friendship right now, and
Dude,
Maki
I
is just such
love
a
it.
great character too. So
Right, man. This chapter, like, we see her. She, you know, she seems to really understand you in a lot of
hmm
ways, like about how hard it is to ask someone out. Like, she really relates to him there. And you know, she kind of sort of defends him when Nagisa comes up and, hey, like, it's not that hard to ask someone out, blah blah,
hmm
or if it was Tsubasa, whoever it was, and she kind of defends you. It's like, yeah, no, it's really hard. Like, your legs will tremble, and and you was like,
he's like, "You're right."
exactly, like what she said, sort of. And like, you know, she's really understanding of him and really supportive of him. Like,
Yeah.
she's so sweet, like
hmm
so sweet, like how she like supports you in that, and basically like she also, when she tells him that, hey, if Tsubame says no, then I'll go on some activities with you.
Right.
Like, that's such a, oh my heart. I love her so much.
Such a great gesture, kind gesture. I
Right.
love it. And I wrote the exact same thing. Even though she's going through a hard time,
Mm.
with her love life right now, she's still willing to help Ishigami and support him in her own way. And I really like that about her character.
Yeah.
I wish she was a little more honest with herself, but I guess that's what part of the charm, and that's why people like that kind of stereotype ish thing.
Right. And there's always room to grow, like in it with a character like that. You know, she has
Sure.
room to improve on those things. But for me, like, that chapter is especially where she, you know, she appeared first behind you, like, guess who? And you know, that whole chapter, she grew so much for me, throughout that chapter especially. But this volume as a whole was great for her, and she definitely deserved to be on the cover. Um, this, by the way, is easily one of my favorite cover arts out of all
It's
of the
very
volumes.
nice.
I love, you know, just seeing Maki there, just because I love her so much,
hmm
both as a character and her character design. And I
hmm
love the green colors of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the green is very nice. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, it's a very good cover. One of the best.
Right.
And going back to her thing with you Ishigami,
Yeah.
is it's almost as if I do think her intentions are pure entirely. Like, she wants to help him. At the same time, I wonder if she was also saying some of these things to save herself. In that, if she had gone with Ishigami to the haunted house, she wouldn't have had to endure the hell that is Kashiwagi and her boyfriend. So
Yeah.
uh,
Fair.
I think maybe she was trying to help herself a little bit there. Not. I mean, I don't blame her. I think it's kind of like two birds with one stone kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Um, I,
Yeah.
I think she was really trying to make Ishigami feel better.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I do really feel bad for her situation in general. It's
Oh yeah.
I, the, you know yeah, it's we've talked about this before, but you
Yeah.
got you got to you got to feel for her.
So much. I feel so much for her.
She hates scary stuff just as much as Kaguya.
Right. Exactly. I'm glad they got to share that experience together.
Yeah, it was nice.
Mm.
Yeah, family bonding, distant
Yeah.
family bonding.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I thought actually something that I thought was really funny from Maki's side was how when she kind of grabbed Kaguya and pulled her into that, she, instead of saying auntie or referring to her as auntie, she said sister, just to kind of get on her good side for that one time when she really needed her to come into the haunted house with her. So I like that little detail.
I don't think I noticed that, but that's hilarious. One other thing about Maki is so minor, but it's just the concept to me is just hilarious. She's the second best balloon artist in her class. It's like, first off, only the second best, and she made a whale.
Right. Well, according to herself, right? Well, she was the one who said that, and didn't she say like I'm the best or the second best? So
Oh, I thought she only said second best. Here, I'm gonna double check. I'm the best, or oh, you're right. I'm the best or second best. Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
right.
Anyway, I was just more making a joke because I thought she only said second best. But either way, how is she not the best in making a blue whale? And then how popular is it to make bubble art? I mean, that not bubble balloon art like that. I don't know. That's not a common skill.
No, no. But I imagine that's what that whole class, like that's all they've been doing, like for like in preparations for their class activity thing. Like everyone has just been practicing balloon art.
But they all make it seem like it's just second nature.
Yeah, that is funny.
Even last volume with Chika Kashiwagi and Miyuki, and those two guys were kind of making fun of Miyuki for not being able to do it. It's like I don't blame Miyuki in this situation. This is not a normal skill.
Definitely. But he got really good at it.
He did.
But the last thing I got on Maki is sort of two things that were kind of similar, which was, well, she, in the balloon art chapter, she expresses, not to Kaguya, but afterwards to Nagisa, that she just wanted to kind of repay Kaguya for having followed her into the haunted house and all that. So, it's nice to see her kind of have that side where she wants to, pay back for, good deeds to people. And the other thing, which is basically the same thing, but it wasn't spelled out as much, was in the first chapter with her, where she, we talked about earlier how she treats you so nicely, and so sweet. And I imagine, part of it could be because she wants to kind of repay his kindness for having helped her out, as listening to her ramblings and talk about her issues.
Totally.
So I do like that side.
Yeah, she is a very nice person. Like at heart, at her core, she's a nice person. The problem is she's not honest with her feelings, I would say before, and she's so prideful, or feels like she has to be, or have this air of, I'm better than you kind of a thing, that she can't express that she wants to be nice, or express that she wants to do something nice for a person. She has to go about it in a kind of roundabout way.
Yeah.
And in the end, obviously, that's going to hurt people, or hurt some of her chances with people. I mean, I guess we kind of saw that with Tsubasa, but also with Kaguya, who's also not honest with her feelings, and so they're going to be bashing heads a bit.
Yeah.
As this kind of relationship grows, as they get to know each other more, I do hope they come to a realization that they're both nice people, and maybe they have some sort of bond with each other. But then again, who knows where Kaguya and Miyuki's relationship is going to go? So maybe that would be. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she'll be happy for them. I hope she will be.
Right. Yeah.
If they do get together.
Yeah. At least she doesn't have a crush on Miyuki.
Yeah. Okay. That would be very bad.
Yeah. So great character. Love her so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And unless you have anything more on her,
I do not.
Then we'll move on to the smaller characters, or at least how I deem them. And since we just talked about Maki, let's talk about Nagisa Kashiwagi.
She has become very protective of her boyfriend. We already realized this before, but even then, when both of them said, "Oh, we're friends with Ishigami," she was kind of like, "Oh, really? Can I be friends with you too?" It's like, Kashiwagi, calm down.
Right.
something happens to Kashiwagi when it deals with her boyfriend.
Hmm.
Something snaps, like something kind of takes over, whether it's lust or this
Kind of possessiveness.
possessiveness. Something takes over, and it's kind of the side of Kashiwagi that is not the most likable.
For sure. Yeah.
But you also get the side that is very cute, very caring, very aware and observant.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I like how she wants to support Kaguya and even kind of who's trying to help her get with Miyuki in a way, even
Hmm.
if it was somewhat of a trick. But I think it was all in good fun
And in good faith, I think, as well,
and
because
good
she
faith,
she she
right?
wants to push them in the right direction that she knows that both
Yeah,
of them want to end up at.
exactly. So I may have expressed some dissatisfaction with her, and to an extent there is,
Hmm.
but I do think she is still a good person, and
Yeah.
um, as long as you take Tsubasa out of the equation, it's it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But add Tsubasa in, and there's just a lot of hormones and a lot of lust going on.
Yeah. There is a lot of that, which fair,
I mean, they're in a relationship, understandable.
and they're very young.
True, and you're right, they're very young.
So yeah.
Um, so to be honest, sometimes when you watch anime, some of the romance and things that happen, or even just the actions that these high schoolers or even middle schoolers take are just so adult-ish. Like no high schooler or middle schooler would do that.
Yeah.
But in this case, with Kashiwagi and Tsubasa making out in a locker is actually kind of on point.
Uh
Like
huh.
I could totally see back in my high school days, the the really clingy couple, um, finding a way to get inside the locker if they could fit, and
Right.
having a heyday there. But
Uh huh.
um, so I guess in this sense, this is pretty realistic for high schoolers. But still, control yourself for 2 minutes
Really?
or
Yeah.
however long it was.
Yeah.
You ruined it for Ishigami. Good job.
Right. Yeah. Really. Man. Man. Oh well. Um. Anything more on her or Tsubasa?
Well, okay, I wrote this down here instead of the Maki section for some reason. But the look that Maki gives Ishigami when she and Tsubasa are flirting, like Tsubasa's like pulling on her cheeks.
Oh yeah.
That look. I mean, she's given some looks before, but this is a new one, and it's just kind of one of pity and um, profound sadness.
Yeah. And it's like, are you seeing this? Like, can you believe this?
Yeah, are you seeing this right now? This is my life. This is my
Yeah.
hell.
Right. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. That is amazing. I like she just has so many interesting and good like expressions. I think.
Yeah, it's true.
Like we mentioned the other one earlier, which is that like, ah, I see you like Tsubame.
Yeah, the smug face. I love that face.
Yeah, that one's super charming. Uh,
Yeah.
and like yeah, she's great all around. But anyway, um, I don't have anything more on Nagisa. And the only thing I got about Tsubasa is that he also finds out that you like Tsubame
Oh
in
yeah, he
this.
did. He did find that out.
So that's a little thing that happened on for him.
He better stay out of it. Not I don't trust him. Like
Oh.
it's not he's a terrible person. I just think he could mess something up. Okay?
Ooh.
Accidentally. Not I don't know if he will. It would be interesting if that would happen. I just don't. Just stay out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I hope he does. I think I I'm probably not that worried. I think he's pretty, in line under Nagisa. But
Yeah.
but I can probably see also a little bit of worry there. But yeah. Anyway, anything more on those characters?
No. I think I'm good.
Cool. Then let's talk about Ai Hayasaka a little bit.
Yeah, she can finally be her maid self at the school.
Yeah, I love
First
that.
time. Yeah. Now, I have to remind myself that this isn't the real Hayasaka in the maid uniform, right? Like,
Nah,
okay.
probably not.
Probably not. So, but it's interesting that she can now have that persona at school,
Yeah.
have an excuse at least for a little bit.
Right, exactly. It's fun. Both the outfit and the persona.
Hmm.
Yeah. And she really seemed to enjoy the cafe like waitress work.
Yeah.
Like she was even considering maybe switching to that.
I mean,
So,
I was thinking about it. Would it really be that much better? And at first I was like, no, wait. But then I thought, it's like, well, someone as demanding as Kaguya, yeah, it's
mhm.
got to be pretty extraneous. So yeah, you're right. A job like that where you can kind of show off your skills and talents, and you got all the customers kind of adoring you as you do this. I
Uh,
mean, that's got to be a little bit better than waiting on, beck and call for a mistress.
yeah, I think so.
It's also really cool to see Hayasaka being the coffee master she is.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
really cool.
that was really neat.
And she was appreciated for it too.
Oh yeah, I
Like she
mean,
really appreciated that appreciation.
yeah, but it's nice to see someone appreciate that and
Yeah.
kind of her get praised for that, which she probably doesn't get praised a whole lot as Kaguya's mistress.
Yeah,
Um,
not as much as she deserves.
hmm And I guess going along with that, she does take quite a few jabs at Kaguya in that chapter.
Yes.
So I mean, I think she's kind of been doing that for a while
Yeah.
now, progressively as her character progression has gone. But now she can do it in the disguise of her maid outfit
Exactly. Yeah. It's clever.
at school.
Mm. Next up, maybe we can talk a bit about Tsubame Koyasu.
Oh, I really want to talk about her.
Yes. So she likes scary stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
Even though she is scared of it, she enjoys the fright.
See, for me, that's a very good quality in a girlfriend or something like that. You like scary stuff, but you still get scared. Awesome. If someone's like, oh, yeah, I like scary stuff, but I never get scared. It's not that fun. I mean, it's not bad, but
Uh-huh.
it's not as fun as when you're kind of both scared or you're kind of both
Yeah,
freaking out. I mean, I think that's pretty fun.
for sure, for sure.
But I also don't want to put anybody through something scary that I can't do it. Like forcing someone to do that, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe a bit much.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so Tsubame kind of grew in points for me there.
Uh-huh.
But I really appreciate her willingness to focus on her goals. Um,
Mhm.
you know, maybe this is, well, I'll be honest, this is wrong of me to say, but I think there's kind of a stereotype with the really popular girls that sometimes they're not. It's not all popular girls, but I think someone as popular as her would maybe not be as goal oriented or willing to put romance and stuff on hold. Does that make sense? I mean, it all depends on the person.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the stereotype isn't
Yeah, the
isn't
stereotype.
isn't like Tsubame necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and also the stereotype is the girl's kind of stuck up
Yeah.
and thinks very proudly of themselves and doesn't show much gratitude or kindness to others. Where Tsubame is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
I just love how kind-hearted and friendly she is. We've seen that ever since the beginning, but even here we see her willingness to hang out with Ishigami, this first year student that she's kind of become friends with. Hanging out with, so she would be a senior and then hanging out with a sophomore. I don't know. It's kind of nice to see that it doesn't matter the differences in age or
Yeah.
school year. She's still willing to give her time to her kohai, her underclassmen.
For sure.
I really appreciate that.
Definitely. Yeah, and after the I guess quote unquote failed dates at the haunted house, she notices, or she seems to really like pick up on Yu's feelings there, where he felt a little bit sad about how that turned out, and so after that she invites him to her class booth,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I thought was a really nice gesture. That like step one, she notices that he's not feeling great about it, how that went. So step two is like, yeah, let's go to my classes booth as well and have fun there as well, which was awesome.
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, what a move. And I reflect that, or I think about my own self. Would I have done something like that? First off, what if someone came up to me and a girl came up to me and I wasn't that interested in them? Would I have done that?
Hmm.
I wonder. Uh, I think now, having had this example, maybe I would. Like, maybe I would try to give people a chance, or just try to get to know people and be more friendly.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to lead people the wrong way, but
True, but still, I think there's like
there's a balance.
characters like Tsubame. I think we can learn from characters like that.
Hmm.
If we ever find ourselves in somewhat of a similar situation, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that part of my life is
Well,
not is past me, but I did have situations where someone would ask me to do something, and not just romantically, but just someone I didn't think I would get along with very well,
mm,
um, and maybe I should have taken the opportunity to say yes. I mean, I've had some of those times, some of those moments, of course, but
mm,
anyway, I think she's a very good person that people can see as an example.
right. And we talked about like the stereotype of like popular girls and stuff.
Right.
Unlike other like most other popular girls, I feel like Tsubame deserves the popularity that she has, right? Like because she
Mm-hmm.
actually is such a good person
Right.
in so many ways. She's so genuine, so kind, so caring. So she really, there's a good reason for her popularity.
Mm-hmm.
But did you want to talk a little bit about the Yu Tsubame stuff and the romance stuff later on?
Yeah, I can save that. And there's actually a few things there I
Mm,
wouldn't mind touching on.
gotcha. Yes.
Yeah, let's just save all that for
Then
now.
we'll leave Tsubame for now. We'll return in a bit.
Okay.
And let's talk a little bit about Moeha Fujiwara, I guess.
Oh yes. Um, let me just say, so after I read the chapter, I was like, you know what? Maybe I misjudged her from her very first introduction and the way she was treating Kay and the things she was saying. Like maybe my creepy radar was off or something.
Uh,
And then the final panel on that page where it's like, oh yeah, you didn't see her other side. It was aha!
yeah.
Don't trust her. There's something wrong with this child.
Yeah, but it turns out you were right when we talked about in the previous volume. You were right in that she hadn't met
Mm-hmm.
Miyuki until the previous volume.
Right. Yeah.
So you were right about
So
that.
it was kind of love at first sight. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she
or
said
yeah,
something
she
like
she even
that.
says that, right? Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, but yeah, she seems to have really grown very fond of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like both when she saw him and also then like at later on, like having just been thinking about him, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Chika unfortunately made him seem even more attractive. At least unfortunately for Chika.
yeah, really the way she described it, like it really sounded like he's like such a great person, which he is. The things that she said about him are all true, and I think
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I don't blame Moeha for kind of having a crush on him.
definitely, yeah, just the more reason to crush hard.
Mm-hmm. Just watch out. Watch out. Uh, one other thing about Moeha is how Kaguya and her were able to kind of relate with their feelings for Miyuki, which that was kind of sweet. She kind of gains an ally in that sense. Uh,
Yeah.
but something was mentioned in that point where, thank goodness she's not some other girl or something like that.
Mm.
And I wonder if that was kind of a silent threat to Chika.
Oh.
Like, if it had been someone who wasn't younger, maybe someone our age, then I would have killed them, or there would have been blood, something like that. So I don't know. Not that Chika would have heard it, but maybe it was just in her own
Uh-huh.
mind or something.
Right. Yeah. 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 Maybe. But yeah. But that was definitely nice though. That they were able to kind of bond together over
Yeah.
their mutual feelings for Miyuki. uh, that was pretty funny. And another little piece of information we got about Moeha is that she is the Junior High Student Council Vice President.
Oh yeah.
So that's good to know. I'm maybe.
I, I love how uh, she's, oh, so you're aiming for student council president. Well, it's tough. It's like, no, no, no. I'm aiming for the student council president. Wait, what? I,
Yeah, that was awesome.
it's so great.
And next up, let's talk about Kozue Makihara, the board game club leader for life. A little bit there. Well, she had a chapter
Mm-hmm.
recording with Miko, and I thought it was funny. Well, it was funny and interesting maybe how she was able to basically figure out Miko's kink during that recording session. So,
Yeah.
which I guess it was pretty obvious. She definitely
Mm-hmm.
seemed as like in addition to Miko showing kind of fear in the situation, there were definitely also situations where she seemed to show some level of pleasure in that. Um, which yeah, really funny and yeah, nice how Kozue was picking up on that, and also fun in general to get a little bit more of her character, which she was really just a face before.
Yeah, she just a face before. You can see kind of how crazy she is. Like, I mean, people say how chaotic Chika is. Chika's kind of a force of nature that is um, unpredictable.
Yeah.
But Kozue is that her name?
Mm.
She's kind of malevolent in a way.
Yeah.
It's like she takes pleasure in making people uncomfortable and suffer and whatnot.
Right.
So it's
Oh.
yeah, she's another one of those people you gotta be aware of. But she's not really trying to hide it either.
Nah.
So I guess that's something that I can respect.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There's at least that. We are running low on characters, but there's also Kobachi Osaragi.
Who has a boyfriend now, apparently.
Exactly. She's dating the Pep Squad leader.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of on a whim, sort of.
Kind of on a whim. So I'll be honest. When I first read that, part of me wondered if she just said that to encourage Ishigami to do something, or maybe even give Miko kind of a scare. But I don't know about that, and I again, I'm not saying that exactly it went that way, and maybe the squad leader did ask her out, and they're going out. I mean, that's entirely possible.
I probably believe
Um,
that.
yeah, and again, like I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying, like, what if there's that chance that she just said that to try to get people or encourage people, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. And like the way she puts it, it doesn't sound like this relationship means a lot to her. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
it's more like a just kind of a logical thing to do,
Yeah.
sort of, which is a little
I don't want
weird.
to. I don't want to be. Or it's weird not to have a boyfriend or something like that. Something kind of ridiculous,
It's
to be
like
honest.
yeah, it's like I need to have a boyfriend for the winter break or something. Like it is odd.
Oh yeah, it's like it's not cool to go with my female friends. Just go to the festival with female friends.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
that's what it was. Yeah.
So that and then her kind of she says so give it your all, Ishigami. And so that and plus the fact that she says this weird thing she doesn't want to be with her girlfriends at the festival. That's lame or not cool.
Yeah.
That one doesn't seem like something she would say, and then the other, or it seems like it would matter to her really. And then two is the fact that she says give your all, Ishigami. So that's kind of what got me thinking. But maybe in the end she kind of just went for it. Like the squad leader asked her out, she's like, oh, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I could use this. And it also kind of plays back to what I said a long time ago about her maybe being looking different with her glasses off.
Oh yes.
Maybe the squad leader saw that or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did. It's kind of shallow, but
If yeah, well.
if it's true, I mean, I don't think it's shallow of Osaragi's character. Kind of
Right.
shallow of the squad leader to be like that. But,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I guess that could be somewhat accurate to real life.
I mean, yeah. I suppose so.
There are shallow people in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. I think at this point to analyze her character based on just this,
True.
like
True.
whether like exactly what her motives are, and
Hmm.
whatever. It's a bit hard for me, but it is interesting though, and I do look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, I don't know why I was reading so much into it.
Oh no,
I don't
yeah,
know
it's fun. I support that.
why.
Um, the other characters that I had anything at all written down on, although really just barely, were the two of the four ramen kings of Tokyo appeared
uh, yeah.
at the cafe, but we did talk about them a little bit already.
Hmm.
Um, and
Yep.
the other two were teased.
True. Excited. I mean, I'm interested to see how they are going to be introduced into the story.
Mm-hmm.
It it's a funny bit, but it's also kind of like, okay, what does this matter?
Yeah,
But I'm sure it'll be really funny.
yeah, yeah. So I don't have anything I need to say about any other character. There were some other characters that appeared though, of course, like Rei Onodera and
Mm-hmm.
the
Shirogane dad.
exactly Shirigane's dad. He was mostly just there for comedic stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
Karen Kino and Erika Kose were there
Oh,
again.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, do you have anything to say about any of those? If
No.
not, cool. Then we'll move into the comedy section. And speaking of Mr. Shirogane, just showing up out of nowhere, like love that, so good. Like the timing is always great with him.
Yeah. He's got pretty good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
And I also like I so much appreciated like the between chapters pages. Like he appeared
Yes.
twice, and both times it just killed me. It's so good. Ah,
So great. You
yeah.
better not be doing anything weird. I'm not. He already did.
Yeah. Oh, and also seeing him like listening to the scary sounds.
Go! Go!
Ah, he's just enjoying life, man,
He really
and
is.
I applaud him for that.
With the crap he's probably gone through
Uh-huh.
with his, estranged wife, like that's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't blame him.
Definitely.
Um, one of my favorite comedic moments was, oh, I have a lot actually. Uh, the Cookie
Yeah.
Hearts, the whole an entire Cookie Hearts scene.
Uh-huh.
I know, so it's. I guess you could put on a romantic, but I just thought it hilarious because it's a situation that really would never happen, where someone unknowingly confesses their feelings for another person in front of the entire school, and basically everybody knows about it except the person who is actually confessing.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a hilarious concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, that got me laughing and kind of reeling, and it really made me invested in that entire um, interaction. But
Hmm.
I'll save the rest of that for romance.
Yes, we are teasing this one a lot.
I know, it's true.
It's good. It's good.
Another moment I really liked is so random, but it just I like stupid random things sometimes.
Yeah.
When Kaguya is serving the tea, and the guy is explaining how, oh, this tea is made with love. Miyuki comes in, he just says hi, and that hi is just perfect timing. It's like hi,
Yeah.
like I feel like in Western, or at least in American uh, voice acting, that would be like a really derpy kind of silly hi. In Japan, it'd probably be just like oh, or like what's up, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I bet in Japan it'd be like hey, what's up, or like hey, like so to me it was like really derpy, and the way I read it, and it's just so funny.
Yeah.
Just perfect timing.
Really good.
Kind of something his dad would do. But
Yes.
obviously he wouldn't admit it.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, they are so much alike in some ways.
They
Obviously,
are.
like we talked
They
about it
are.
last volume too. It's really fun. It's really fun when you see those similarities sometimes.
Hmm.
I have a couple things I wanted to say from my personal, probably my personal favorite chapter, just when it comes to the comedy, the one where the haunted house focus.
Yeah.
Um,
Chokiko.
oh yeah, yeah, that's right. With that, yeah, that was first of all kind of like the story they made up was pretty scary, to be honest, or disturbing.
Mm-hmm. Choki is the sound for cut in Japanese.
Ooh.
So choki, and ko is, typical ending,
Yeah,
girl name, whatever. So choki.
exactly. Oh, that. Thank you for telling me that. That's actually nice to know. Oh yeah. So, but anyway, the funny parts there, starting with Maki, Maki and Kaguya go in there together, and Maki, she pretends not to be scared, even though obviously she is, and she offers her hand to Kaguya because she wants to hold someone's hand because she's scared, but she's trying to play it off as if, oh, I'll hold your hand, Kaguya, since you're scared, since obviously I'm not, and stuff like that. And Kaguya rejects it because she would never hold hand with someone of the Shijo family, but then she does it anyway because she's actually just so scared. Was really really great, and seeing Maki and Kaguya reacting to the recordings at the same time as we can also see Miko when it was being recorded, they were all reacting in just the same ways.
It's just same way.
And like the ear nibbling.
Even the ear nibbling, they were.
Oh man, that
Okay,
so good.
that's kind of went a little far, don't you think? I mean,
that's where it became a little bit unbelievable for Maki and Kaguya to react the same way as Miko. Probably.
yeah,
Because for Miko to react that way, I can see it. I buy that.
sure, yeah. I don't know how you would record that sound. I mean, it's not even the sound that would trigger that reaction. It's more the feel.
Right? Yeah. For sure. But I mean, it is just for comedic effect ultimately.
I mean, yeah. Right.
But
it's also disturbing, man. Like, well, disturbing is not words. Makes me uncomfortable.
Right. It didn't make me uncomfortable, or I don't know. It got me excited somehow. I don't know. It was fun.
Oh my.
It was. Anyway, moving on. Last thing in that chapter that I thought was funny was at the end of it when everyone exits the lockers and they, at the end they find Nagisa and her boyfriend still there and they're kissing in there. Seeing Miko's, Maki's, and Kaguya's expressions, like each of them have like a unique reaction to that, and it's just so
that was amazing,
so perfect for each of them. I just love it so much.
Agreed. Classic. So I love that chapter as well for comedic purposes. I also loved the Moyaha chapter. I was really loving that you're about to experience hell. It was hell that quick or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't happen. But it's not just that, but Kaguya, when she comes in, she makes the derpiest face I've ever seen her make.
Yes.
It is so fun.
That was the face I thought you were going to refer to earlier when you said something about the face expression she did. Oh my god.
It's like her eyes are going two different directions.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest faces she's made so far. I was also going to mention that it's just too funny.
It's perfect. So the Russian roulette chapter, real quick. So when I moved to Japan for high school, I did this a couple times.
Ooh.
But it wasn't with takoyaki. I don't think.
Oh, what did you do it with?
Chocolate.
Oh, I see.
And it was supposed to be, they're all supposed to be peanut butter, but one of them had wasabi in it.
Ooh.
I don't think I ever got the wasabi one. I think I probably would have remembered if I did. But it was really fun to kind of have that sort of challenge.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't realize this was a somewhat popular thing to do in Japan. I mean, popular may be the wrong word, but I mean, it's probably a fairly common thing to do in Japan. So just seeing this again kind of brings back memories. Like, oh yeah, that was a thing I.
Yeah, it does seem really fun.
Indeed, yeah. Especially if you get the right person to get the wasabi one, then yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
Just real quick with that takoyaki chapter, what's with the American flag? It's just so random. Like she's okay. I put a flag on. She's like, oh. I know the American flag doesn't mean anything. It's just so random that it's specifically the American flag. And she's like, I want it.
Well, the American flag is a very famous flag, I guess. So
true.
It's just
I mean,
there.
why not Japan or Germany or some other flag?
Fair.
I guess it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny.
It was a funny joke though. How just putting a flag on the little toothpick just made Chika like, yeah, I'll take that one.
Oh yeah, that's the one. When Yu stops Miko from getting taken away by those sketchy guys, afterwards Miko starts hitting you across the head with a clipboard or something like that.
Hmm.
And normally like it's just whatever, but for some reason I could just see that just happening multiple times, the bonk, 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 bonk.
Yeah.
And it's just really funny to see her so short and on her tiptoes, bonking him on the head furiously.
This would make for a very good GIF.
Yes. I can't wait to see that animated.
I'm sure when the anime comes out, it will become a GIF.
For sure. So great.
Yeah, I do also love that little panel.
And then one more thing that I guess could tie into the romance as well.
Hmm?
Did Miyuki plan that fortune teller scene out with Atembo? Now, hear me out.
Huh.
I know it's a strange theory, but the fact that she knew all of that stuff about him, like that birth info.
Yeah.
It's like how would she have found that out? Besides Kaguya, who she says, "Wow, how did you know that?" or something like that. Even though Kaguya herself knew that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she did.
She mentioned before.
Yeah.
So I mean, that in itself is kind of funny, ironic.
Yeah.
But there was another thing that. What was the other thing that got me thinking? Oh yeah, she also said that today would be the day that is important for their future.
Yeah, she did.
And so it's, I mean, maybe she was really just being a fortune teller and, just saying stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she says to all the couples. But it almost makes me wonder if Miyuki had planned that. And he's like, yes, great. We're setting up the moment, setting up the move. But
maybe.
Because obviously Kaguya wasn't the one who did it.
Right. Yeah.
But again, it could just be Atembo has these really nice powers of predictability, I guess.
I'm going with that one.
That's fine too.
But it is an interesting theory though. I like it.
A lot of my theories not all my theories, but a good majority of my theories never come true because I'm just like thinking of all possibilities. But if you guess everything, eventually you'll get right.
Exactly. That's the spirit. So, well, I guess then we'll move on to the romance discussion.
Yes.
And I guess we might as well start where we have been teasing a lot with you and Tsubame.
Yes.
And one thing that just to kick it off with related to Tsubame was, obviously, she's struggling with how she's supposed to deal with the confession. Well,
right.
The confession. And clearly she has a good deal of respect for you. Like, that much is very clear. Like, they are, at this point, definitely friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she doesn't see him as a romantic interest. She told that to Kaguya. And
right.
And yeah, she just wants to find a nice way to turn him down while still being able to maintain their friendship. And yeah, I think I definitely respect her for that. For that willingness to put that much effort into the rejection.
Totally. Again, it just shows how kind of a person she is, and you see where she's coming from because it was such a, well, unbeknownst to Ishigami, it was a more passionate confession that she has ever dealt with before.
Yeah.
Maybe bold is the better word. So you could see why she wants to make sure she puts him down lightly, and not ruin any sort of friendship that they have. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't be upset if they got together.
Yeah.
I think that's, we've been kind of talking about how Miko and Ishigami are a ship, and we kind of been building that ship. And again, I think they are very well made for each other, and they really support each other. At the same time, I think after this volume, there is a possibility that Ishigami and Tsubame could be a thing. Before, I wasn't really sold on it. I kind of was like, yeah, she's a really popular girl. She's just nice to a lot of people, and I really did think Ishigami was kind of in over his head a little bit.
Right.
I was I wanted to encourage him and say, yeah, go for it. But at the same time, it's like, it ain't gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. Like before this volume, it definitely seemed more like that. I agree.
Right. But now it's kind of like I wouldn't mind if it did happen.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's really nice.
Yeah. It really is interesting how that kind of has grown over these past few volumes. Well, since volume 9 or
Mm-hmm.
so, where she was introduced. Well, I guess it was volume 10 where he told Kaguya that he liked her.
Right.
I think. So it's relatively recently, and to be fair, Miko was introduced in volume 7, but there's still a history between them there. So
Right.
they've known each other longer, and they've been looking
Mm-hmm.
out for each other for ever since junior high at least. Um, but yeah, like
Yeah.
there's different, I guess, different pros and cons with each of those ships. I
It's true.
definitely think so.
It's true.
Because to be fair, there hasn't ever been any outright declaration of feelings between you and Miko.
Nope.
In either
Not at all.
direction, obviously. Um, but there is we do have you very clearly having romantic interest for Tsubame, and Tsubame, while she doesn't necessarily think of him in a romantic way, she isn't necessarily either opposed to maybe thinking about him that way. Because she even said to Kaguya that if she would accept his confession, or if they would start dating, then she would probably end up liking him. I think she said
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's understandable why she, again, with her goals and not wanting to hurt Ishigami's feelings, it makes sense why she would be, apprehensive as much as she is to
Mm.
giving a certain answer.
Yeah.
But I also like how she comes to the conclusion that she was going to think on it, give him
Mm.
some time, get a chance to get to know the real him.
Yeah.
And I wonder, because she kind of notices how Ishigami treats Miko. Although actually, it's not that. She noticed that he gets mad, and she did. She said, "I didn't know he could get mad," or something along those lines. Um, and I think that's a good thing. I think it shows a different side of Ishigami, and so that could be something that helps a potential relationship between the two.
Mm.
But I also think it could show to Tsubame that maybe Ishigami and Miko are a better couple,
Hmm.
or are like kind of made for each other. So maybe she feels like she has to stand back if she does notice that. Again, she doesn't really know Miko
Right.
incredibly well, so maybe as time goes on, she will see that. But either way, I think it's nice that she's willing to get to know him better,
Mhm.
and yeah, kind of see where it goes from there.
For sure. And something that I think is kind of interesting regarding this is we basically have two potential ships here. It's you or Tsubame, and it's you or it's you and Miko.
Hmm.
And I just think it's kind of heartwarming in a way to see that the character, well, other than Tsubasa, the character who is part of like two potential ships is the guy who is like notorious for being like basically like one of the least popular guys in school. But he is the character in the story that has like the potential for two different ships,
Mm,
or at least the way we are talking about it.
right.
And I do think both are supposed to be noticeable or like things that the reader should be considering. I think that is intentional.
Yeah, for
So
sure. I like that.
I
I
really
really
like
do.
that, and it's exciting to see how it's gonna end up.
So speaking of those two potential,
Mm.
when Miko finds out that Ishigami confessed, she's shocked. Like at first you look at the shock and it's kind of like, oh wow, he actually did something like that. But then you look as the panels continue, she kind of looks maybe a little bit upset because her head is down. So she says, "Whoa, how could he be so serious?" That one, like I don't think that's disappointment. I think that's just shock. But then she kind of averts her eyes and she's kind of looking down in the next two panels,
Yeah.
as people are saying that. So I mean, so maybe she has a bit of disappointment, or it could be worry. Maybe she's worried that he will get rejected, but maybe there's a few things you can take from that. Anyway, I
Yeah.
think it's interesting. I think it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And for me, I like to think that she does have some kind of subconscious liking for him.
Uh huh.
Is what I just like to think. Um,
Sure.
so I think that would make sense. Like this would make sense if that was the case. Um, like it's not something that she has recognized as feelings necessarily, or like as those
Mm-hmm.
sorts of feelings.
Of
But
course.
yeah,
Right. No. Yeah. It's not something that she would recognize as, oh, I have feelings for, but it's something that she subconsciously is doing. She's subconsciously disappointed. Um,
yeah,
but if someone were to point that out, she'd be like, "What? No, I don't know what you're talking about,
right,
Baka."
exactly.
Anyway, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything more on the U ships?
I think I'm good for. Well, that was my favorite. That's my favorite love confession. That wasn't really a love confession.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
I mean, I guess it's not competing against too many others, but
That's the point.
yeah, it is great though. Well then, let's talk about Kaguya and Miyuki a little bit. The volume starts off with Kaguya and Miyuki both like by this point they both know that they've fallen in love,
Mm-hmm.
and like they are like they're not even like neglecting it to themselves at this point. They're both like, yeah, I'm in love now. Like
Yeah,
th-
I love that.
we're gonna do something about this, hopefully soon. And yeah, we talked a little bit about the heart shaped balloon art chapter.
Yeah, that was pretty romantic at the end there, where
Yeah,
it kind of caught her off guard, and she's about to give the heart potentially,
yeah,
and then it ends this whole hilariously when he's just, here, take this. That's not okay.
yeah, and like that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
For for sure. Especially when they were only charging like 100 yen for some of those things.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously Miyuki's caught off guard too when he's expecting to be handed the heart thing, but nope,
Hmm.
just a bunch of 10,000 yen bills. And yeah, the last chapter I mentioned it at the beginning of the discussion how
Yeah.
they are able to successfully go on a culture festival date, basically, and
Hooray.
everything went uh, like almost a little bit too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just super sweet. Like, and especially to me, especially it was like the last couple of panels where there isn't any dialogue. It's just them. We just see them enjoying their time together. Those are my favorite, probably my favorite like romantic bits. It's a page of 4 panels
Hmm.
where we just see them together, and it's just super sweet.
Yeah.
And then of course, it all culminates in the final scene at the student council chambers where Miyuki drops the bomb,
Boom.
and oh my god.
I cannot wait to read the next volume.
Yeah, oh I bet.
I have been so itching to read it.
I can't
Ah.
I can't wait to talk about it with you. I'm super
Ah.
excited about this one.
So, if you don't mind me ending, because I think you pretty much summed up
Uh-huh.
the romance, the last thing. I thought this volume was jam packed with all these characters,
Uh-huh.
and they all really add to their own character and to the story. And now there's all these plot points zooming around,
Yeah.
and it also started. I don't know if it was the first chapter or the second chapter, but actually it wasn't even, I think it was towards the middle, where they say, okay, now all these goals are set. What will be Tsubame's answer? What will Miko do with the fire pit or the
Mhm.
camp or the bonfire, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. So it had set all these plot points, and Chika does nothing in particular.
Yeah.
But now she has something though. She has the detective case. So
Exactly.
even she has something.
Right.
So it's amazing how well he set it all up,
Uh-huh.
and this is probably the hypest I've been for any volume, any arc in this story so far.
Good.
So it's great, and I'm so excited for the next one.
Very nice.
This volume is probably my favorite one.
Awesome. I think I'm with you there. It really does get better and better. Like the story I love that so much. And I'm very happy to hear that you're enjoying it that much as well. So it's been a while since we asked this. Have you changed your mind since I asked you last about who you were rooting for to confess their love first, or to be confessed to, or whatever?
No, because I still would like Miyuki to be the one to do it. Um, but the way the story is going, I kind of think that Kaguya will be the one to do it.
I
And
see.
it wouldn't be bad for her character, of course, but I still think it would be really cool for Miyuki to do it. And but at the same time, I think either one is fine.
Right.
So that's my wishy-washy answer.
But so basically, you want it to be Miyuki that confesses, but you
Hmm.
think it's going to be Kaguya that confesses.
Yeah, that's my guess. It's
Gotcha.
gonna be Kaguya.
Gotcha. All right. And have your favorite characters, like top three or so, have they changed since last time? Mine have not.
Hmm. Um, I don't think so. Ishigami's still my favorite.
Sweet. And he is my second favorite. I actually realized last time, or when I was editing the previous episode we did, I realized that your top three is exactly my 2 to 4. And I just got Miko on top of your top three, basically, in my list.
Gotcha.
But anyway, I guess that's it. We loved the volume, and yeah, so excited for volume 14. It's gonna be great.
Whew,
It's gonna be very great.
man. I hope people are excited because I am. I'm really excited.
And yeah, you have good reason to be excited.
Yay.
Yeah, so if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga. If you like this episode, please share it around with anyone you think might enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next time where we'll talk about Volume 14. Bye bye!
Woohoo! Goodbye. But there's been a couple times I just got to roll my eyes like, oh my gosh, there is no way you would be able to do that, let alone remember that. Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, when he was counting the seconds or whatever as he was in stone.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess that kind of puts all reason out the window to begin with.
sort of, yeah. And after that, it's just like, yeah, I'll just chew this,
Yeah.
or just slurp this up. It's already chewed.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.